boy making big noise, playing in the street, gonna be a big man someday. You got mud on your face, you big disgrace, kicking your can all over the place, singing, we will rock you. We will rock you. That may have been terrible, but let's talk about Bohemian Rhapsody. So Bohemian Rhapsody is the real-life story of lead singer of Queen, Freddie Mercury, as he not only meets up with Queen in his former and younger years, all the way up to the Wembley Live Aid concert. And that's pretty much what the entirety of the movie is. Now, if there's one thing you should know right off the bat, guys, is I love this movie. This may very well be my favorite movie of the entire year for its significance, for what it means to society as a whole, for bringing Freddie Mercury back to a new generation, introducing him to a new generation, and the music. Oh my goodness, the music. But I want to get into the most important facts here, and that is Rami Malek's performance as Freddie Mercury. This performance is every bit as good, and I will say maybe greater than what Daniel Day-Lewis gave us with President Lincoln. Rami Malek is not on screen. He does not appear, but Freddie Mercury does. Mercury is brought back to us, seemingly resurrected for us to see his life, for us to see his struggles and what he went through as a young rock star growing up in around these environments. And what Malek does here, the mannerisms, the movements, to how he spoke, to how he sung, little details that they made so perfectly accurate. And that might help because with Roger May and Brian Taylor on board with helping out with this project, that may have helped out with getting those details solidified. But nevertheless, Rami Malek is without a doubt, it is going to be a rock star going forward. He's going to be moving away from the small screen from what he's done with Mr. Robot. And I would say that he's probably the next Daniel Day-Lewis. And some people might be saying that. And I would say that not only is he the best part of this film, but he raises this film up above its kind of average and somewhat mediocre depths. I'll get into my negatives and talk more about those elements later on, but right up front, Rami Malek was great. Another performance who was great was Lucy Boynton as Mary Austin, Freddie Mercury's lifelong love, his lifelong girlfriend, and the person that he left so much to, the person who meant so much to him. Their relationship, these performances, and the relationship established between those two is probably my favorite part of the movie. I love Queen. I love the music, and the music is brilliant, and it's so profoundly explodes off of the screen. But the relationship between Mary Austin and Freddie Mercury might be the centerpiece of what keeps this film from being average and makes it a masterpiece, or at least a masterpiece of screenwriting. You see, guys, I'm a giant Queen fan. It's the one band that I follow the most of. I have read so many interviews about Freddie Mercury. I have watched so many videos of YouTube, not just the concerts, but interviews with the bandmates, how they interacted back in the day. All of this stuff, it's positively stuff that I enjoy looking into. And seeing how accurately they portray the suffering of Freddie Mercury, who not only got into some very, very dark stuff. Now, this is a PG-13 rated film, so they don't go too deep into all the darkness that Freddie Mercury had in his life. They do touch on it, but not completely. Not like they were going to do with the Sacha Baron Cohen version of this film. But they do touch on it enough. The main thing here that I was impressed by was the struggle they showed with Freddie Mercury, not only as an artist, but with his sexuality. Freddie Mercury, throughout his entire life, struggled finding out who he was as a person, finding out his own sexuality, and there was a lot of regret during the later years in his life before he died, before he contracted AIDS. There were a lot of regrets. You just watch interviews of him before and after the Live Aid concert. It seems like you're watching a seemingly different person, and it feels as though they they accurately captured that, not only with Rami Malek's performance, but with everything around him. The scenarios, everything. It just feels so accurate to Freddie, and this film is such a love letter to him. And this is a film I think everybody should say, just on the principle that this is one of the most amazing men who was ever born, and on that principle, everybody should go see this film. The movie also has a very good pace, a very quick pace. The movie's 2 hours and 15 minutes long. For my personal taste, I would have liked it to have been at least 3 hours long, because there were certain situations with the bandmates, certain elements with Freddie Mercury's family that I would have liked to have been expanded, although I feel as though they touched on it enough for this movie's runtime to make it feel smooth. But during the first act of the movie, like the first 45 minutes, it did feel a little choppy at times, setting up the band and setting up where he was with his family. Enjoyable to watch for sure, but it could have been fixed just a tiny bit. And because this film is just so Freddie heavy, it does feel as though some of the stuff with Queen, the band in essence, while the performances, the music, all of that stuff is great and explodes off of the screen, some of the stuff with the bandmates and their relationship and how they created songs, the amount of risks they took with the music, some of it does feel secondary to what we're learning about Freddie Mercury and learning about his emotional turmoil. That is not a negative for me, but I've got to let you guys know in case that is going to be a problem for you. If you want to go into this film hoping for a Queen-centered film, I feel that you will like it. I feel as though it might be an issue for you because it's not really Queen-centered. It's very much Freddie Mercury-centered in his involvement with Queen. The Wembley Stadium, the Live Aid concert at the very end of Bohemian Rhapsody is worth the price of admission. Obviously, this concert was televised and it's possibly the greatest rock concert that was ever put together. But this film makes you feel like you were actually in the event, like you were in the crowd, and knowing that what they filmed on was a live replica of the Wembley Stadium and they had a massive live audience watching the performances go on, it makes the film just that much better. Because let me tell you, there's a big difference between being at a rock concert and watching it on YouTube or on television. This film makes you feel like A Star Is Born did. It makes you feel like you are there. Now, I loved A Star Is Born. It's true. And I still testify that that film is my favorite film of all time. However, as far as a film released in the year of 2018, for me personally, the character piece that we got with Bohemian Rhapsody and the band study that we got with it, it may very well be my favorite movie of this entire year. Are there movies that are more technically and perfectly made? Yes, of course. But Bohemian Rhapsody hit a very special chord in my heart. And it hit a very special chord, a very emotional chord. This film, I had a big smile on my face from beginning to end. And I believe you will as well if you go and choose to see it. The film is an emotional journey, a rocking emotional journey that will affect you on a personal level. At least it did for me. I know that critics have shredded this film to pieces, but for me personally, I feel as though this film is very much what Queen was to the music industry. It was a band made for the people, not for the critics who are gonna rip it to shreds. Look, I watch a lot of movies. I realize this movie has problems, but I respect the fact that this movie was made for the people, not for critics, because critics, I can automatically see why they would rip this movie apart. But for me personally, I'm with the people. I loved Bohemian Rhapsody. I cannot wait to go see it again. It rocked me to my very core. I love Freddie Mercury. I love Brian Taylor. I love Roger May. I love every member of Queen. I love what they did. I love how they revolutionized the music industry. And guys, at the end of all of this, I'm going to say that Bohemian Rhapsody is suit-worthy. Mama just killed a man, put a gun against his head, pulled my trigger, now he's dead. Alright, that's all you're going to be getting out of me. But guys, honestly, thank you so much. I love creativity. I love the fact that YouTube is up so I can do this, so I can talk about movies with you guys. I love the ability to be creative. I love the freedom presented. I love the fact that Queen testified and encouraged everybody to be creative in their own way. That Freddie encouraged people to be themselves. And I want all of you to be yourselves. I want to, while I don't want the lifestyle of Freddie Mercury, I want to be more like him. I want the gumption. I want the guts that he had. I want the willingness to take risks, to do stuff that nobody else is doing. But guys, you mean the world to me. Thank you so much. And thank you for watching these videos on a weekly basis. I know I'm not 100% when it comes to these videos, but it means the world to me that I can do this and bring you guys these reviews and all of the friends I've met through this platform. So thank you so much. And if you want to see more videos from me, guys, be sure to click the top link up there. That'll take you to more reviews from me from the end of this year, or since the year started, I should say. And then if you want to see me and my buddy Zach Pope talk about movies, talk about Bohemian Rhapsody, talk about TV shows and video games, click right there in the bottom link. You guys are all amazing. And if you like what you've seen here and you want to see more, click right there and subscribe and become part of the fray of nerds who love cinema. You all have a fantastic day.